Heyo everybody, Haku here with my review of this week's brand new chapter of Tower of God, and it's going to be chapter 300. We're finally there. It seems like such a high number. Seems like we've been reading this for so very long, guys. So we're at chapter 300 of Tower of God, and it'll be season 2 episode 220, because 80 chapters off 220. So getting into discussing this was such a huge and content-filled chapter, really. There was so much that happened. I especially like the Kaiser stuff because, of course, you guys know I'm a huge Kaiser fanboy, and we finally get her real name. But let's get into talking about this part by part. Just some stuff at the beginning. I loved how we got to see pretty much every single character, even if we didn't get a ton with them. It was nice to see almost everybody. It really helped the chapter out, and it helped it feel very, very full and complete. That's one of the things I liked most about this. And it's a compliment you guys probably see me giving out pretty often. So, yeah. And it worked really well for an epilogue for this arc, kind of like a semi-epilogue, sort of wrapping some stuff up for this arc so that we can prepare to go into the next one. And we'll probably have another chapter similar to this one next week, I would think, from the way SIU's talking at least, maybe. Except next week might have a little bit more build-up for the next arc. But yeah, starting at the beginning of this, we see Vespa and Anak, and they see Bomb's final attack against Kaiser. Like, they see the explosion coming out from the auction house or whatever, and Anak is looking smexy. My girl Anak. Love my little lizard waifu. But then we see Irudo, and she is sleeping, and I'm a little bit disappointed that she really didn't play much of a role in this arc. I'm like, why'd they even take her off the train if she's going to do essentially nothing? So yeah, I'm a little disappointed she didn't do more. I would have wanted a little bit more from Irudo in this arc. We see Lilial and Andrasi. They feel the ground shake, and so does Alphine, and that's when we get our title card. And then when we come back, we see Kaiser thrown into despair, asking if Bomb plans to take her name and then take over the name hunt station for FUG, or what the plan is. But Bomb says that he's going to buy her name for enough money for her to pay off her debt and be free, if she agrees to give up Andrasi's name so that she can live and be free, and say that Andrasi won the fight so she doesn't have to worry about being disgraced and losing her right as a princess. So pretty much everything works out, and like I was saying, and most of us were saying from the beginning, they don't really need to fight Ship's group and Andrasi and them. They can find a way to work everything out. So yeah, everything works out. Bomb beats Kaiser, Andrasi gets saved, Kaiser is freed. Like, everybody got what they wanted. There was a solution for that they could have worked together on from the beginning, and Ship actually did work with them on it. So yeah, but Bomb knows Kaiser's real name, Elaine. Finally learning the name of best girl Elaine. So Kaiser messages Shiliel quitting, so Shiliel pretty much rage quits her fight with Hasu. She throws down her sword and starts walking off. I just love the way that was, where Shiliel just tosses her sword to the side and is like, okay, well, I'm leaving. I love the way that was. And Shiliel also, Smexy. So Smexy Shiliel says that she's working with Masheni and Maria, which are both Zahard princesses from the Kun family. So very, very interesting. If it is the same Maria, and I think we can all assume that it is the same Maria. So if you guys don't remember Maria, I'll throw this in here as well. It was one of Kun's half-sisters, but that's the reason why Kun was kind of disgraced and kicked out of the Kun family, essentially, is because instead of helping his own biological sister to become a princess, he ended up helping Maria instead. And Maria is sort of, she has to be like a half-sister, because they're all the children of Edouan, but I guess they have different mothers, and that's what they meant by him helping somebody who wasn't his full sister compared to somebody who was his blood sister. So that's why Kun got kicked out of the family pretty much, and took all that stuff with him when he came and became a regular. So yeah, backstory for Kun, and we're seeing Maria again finally. And again, stuff that was set up hundreds of chapters ago coming into play again. So great writing once again. And there are eyes behind Shiliel as she leaves, so I guess that means we are to take that she is an anima as well. Probably more powerful than Kaiser even. Kaiser is very, very strong, but like SIU was saying, the twins are still a bit of a level above us because they're going to be villains later on. They have to be a level above us right now so that they can be good villains later on. And yeah, even with them being a level above us, even with them not showing their full powers or anything, I liked that Hatu and Andrasi were able to stand their ground against them as well as they did, even though they weren't really like fighting very, very seriously. So we had that, and we find out that Lilial ran away from Andrasi once she got the message from Jilial. And then we see Kun and Greymon taking Bomb out, and Kun being best boy, best friend to Bomb. And Greymon pretty much says that he gave up on his revenge because he agrees with Bomb. This was the right course of action. Now Kaiser can just go on and live a better life. Then Andrasi teleports in with Hatsu, Luray, and Ship and starts bitching at Bomb. And Bomb tells her about the plan, but Andrasi doesn't trust him and is honestly just being kind of selfish and dim. He's like, and I know I'm going to get a lot of hate for saying anything bad about Andrasi, because if you ever say anything bad about Andrasi, you get hate. But really, this arc has made me like her a lot less. I still like her, but a lot less, because this arc she has been really selfish, and really, even like when Bomb laid it out, hey, this plan worked out, we're all good right now, I got your name back, Kaiser's gonna say that you defeated her, everything worked out, and I would get if Andrasi was like, no, I don't want it that way, I wanted to actually defeat her myself, but she doesn't say that. She says, no, give me the name now and stuff, and it's like, does she not trust Bomb that much? Like, it's really, it's like either she's very, very selfish and untrustworthy, or she's very unintelligent, and I don't think that she's unintelligent, and that level of being selfish is just really it's dislikable. Like, I don't like what's been done with Andrasi's character this arc. I think that not good character work has been done. So yeah, I am not liking what's happened to Andrasi this arc. But Ryun's getting money from FUG to pay off Kaiser's debt, and she says that something like that is pretty much nothing compared to what an FUG Slayer has, which makes me think, why is just one FUG Slayer, I know that they treat them as gods and stuff, but one FUG Slayer is that much richer than a branch of a 10 great family? Like, let's not forget the 10 great families are supposed to be this huge, massive deal. How is an FUG Slayer that much bigger of a deal? Like, I think that's pretty interesting and crazy in itself that FUG has that sort of influence, has that sort of money. So we see Novik, Boro, and Sachi as well tending to Rakiwa and Danwa. Good to see all of them. And Ship tells Kun about Masheni and Maria, and I love the reveal with him saying that to Kun. It was really, really good. And also just the development, and just I like the interactions between Ship and Kun a lot. When the two of them interact, I like it a lot. And we find out a little bit more. He talks about the princess faction strife. All the princesses up above are sort of divided into factions here and there and are having issues with one another. And it was the two main factions with Rose and Gladmary that we heard about, but it appears as though there are others jumping in, like Masheni, who is teamed up with Maria, Lilial, and Chilial. And the next day is the auction, and we see Jinsung there, and he's hearing people talking about the Ha family, which again, I think was just like one panel essentially, but it was still a really good scene in being one panel, because as we know, Ha Jinsung killed a bunch of people and left his family to join FUG, which I think he even killed an entire branch, didn't he? I think he may have killed an entire branch of the Ha family. I don't remember the backstory completely. But yeah, he killed a bunch of people and left the Ha family to join FUG, and he's a high ranker. Like, Jinsung is such a beast. And I think that was just the little thing thrown in there of him hearing somebody talking about, like, SIU didn't spell it out for us or shove it in our face. They just had somebody talking about the Ha family and showing that Jinsung noticed. It's just really a good little thing thrown in there. I really liked it. Then the final scene was completely amazing, where we have Kaiser without her mask heading out to the auction, and just all the art, it looked so good. I liked the way it was paced. It was just really, really nice. and we see that Bomb, Kun, Rak, Ship, Andrasi, Hatsu, Lorray, Ron, and probably a bunch of other people off panel are at like this big windowed room thing watching the auction take place. And then we see, without her mask, best girl Elaine for the win. Elaine is best girl at the end, and I really this chapter was so good. But this week I do want to talk a little bit about the blog, because in the blog this week we did get some good information, and you guys know I always bring it up whenever we get good stuff in the blog. So SIU said that he based Kaiser's face on a wolf cub, so I think that was really cool, and you can kind of tell. I like that little extra thing thrown in there. And he says that though she's over 1,000 years old, that doesn't really matter to somebody from the 10 families climbing the tower. So again, I think it's kind of interesting that maybe like the age doesn't matter with how you look being from the 10 families, just because you age, because we don't really know how age works. I think most of us figure it's based on Shinsu control, and I figure it's based on Shinsu control. And the 10 families are probably more natural at Shinsu control, and that's why it seems like they age slower. So, again, very interesting, and not really something that we have a ton of info on yet. He also says that hopefully she'll have childish purity now that her mask is off, and because he said that, it makes me think, does that mean we're going to be seeing her more? Because I hope so. I've seen a lot of people saying that they hope that she leaves with Bomb and them to go onto the train and everything, and I hope she does as well. She'd be an awesome teammate. I think it would just be a waste of her character to just not see her anymore, so I hope she has some sort of role for the future. Even if she disappears for a while and then comes back later in the story, I hope that she does have a part later in the story. And he also mentions Andrasi's true name again, which I think is really cool, that Andrasi's not really her true name, and we don't know her true name yet. But he said that Andrasi's true name's going to be revealed one day, and again, that has me thinking probably the princess arc, when we get more in depth about all of the princesses and everything. And I'm assuming that Anak and Andrasi will sort of be like their own faction out there, because Andrasi's going to stand up for Anak and everything. So that's probably when we'll find out more about her real name. And he also says, word for word, next chapter we'll start to exit the Name Hunt Station arc and prepare for a new one. So that's got me very, very happy that we are probably going to get maybe another chapter or two of sort of like epilogue of this arc, build up for whatever we're going into, and then we're going to be starting our next arc. We're like right at the very tail end of Name Hunt Station right now, and like I said, we could maybe jump over and see what Wangnan's group is doing, but since like if we weren't all at the auction, if we flipped to next day Kaiser was at the auction and Bomb's group was somewhere else, I would say okay, maybe we're not getting an auction arc, we're just getting back on the train. But since we're all at the auction house, I think that we are going to actually get an auction arc. I think that they have Jinsung there, they've been talking about the Ha family, we have all these other characters there. Something's going to go down that even if it's short, even if it's only a couple chapters, I think we're going to get some sort of stuff at the auction. I just feel like it's more and more likely at this point. So yeah, I think we'll get a little bit more epilogue, possibly the auction arc. I think probably the auction arc, and then we'll get back on the train and move on to the next thing. The art in this one was amazing. I loved seeing all the characters, and I mentioned that at the beginning. Seeing all the characters helps something like this so much. I really like when shows do that. Kaiser, or Elaine, is the best girl, and she might join up with us, which I think is very good, and I kind of hope she does. And it leaves me wondering what we're going to do with Red Greymon and the pink-haired girl, if they're going to stay behind, if they're going to stay with us, what's going on with them now that Red Greymon has given up on revenge and stuff. He hasn't really done anything terribly useful, so I don't know if I really want him or the pink-haired girl joining. They could just stay back at the Name Hunt Station, or whatever it becomes now that Kaiser is gone, and do something else if they want to. So, yeah, I don't really care all that much what's going on there. Also, Alphine, we find out, was, or at least from what I gather from reading it, Alphine was sent back to the Lopobia family by Kaiser, which is a bit odd, because wasn't she there to serve Kaiser, so wouldn't she want to stay with Kaiser? Or she was climbing the tower when she found Kaiser again, wouldn't she want to keep climbing the tower? So I don't know, that doesn't make total sense. I'm not sure if that's what we did with Alphine, but I think Alphine may have been sent back to the Locobia. So I love the reveal with Macheni and Maria. That was another real high point for me. And I love how all of our characters came back together. We have Andrasi, Hatsu, and Ship back on good terms and together with Kunrak and Bam again. So totally glad we got everybody back together. And we really just built some hype for some future arcs. We built hype with the Princess stuff. We built hype for the auction and Jinsung. We're just building a lot of stuff that could come into play later on, and I like that. And the content level, tons and tons of content. So overall, with all that in mind, giving this one 9.5 Princess Factions out of 10. Don't want to give it quite a perfect score because there has been better, but this was incredible. And let's talk Best Girl Kaiser. So yeah, Best Girl Elaine, Best Girl Kaiser. And that's it. That's all I got about this one. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Like if you did like the video. Comment down there and tell me what you thought of this week's chapter. What you thought of our 300th chapter of Tower of God, now that we're hitting that milestone. And what you thought of my thoughts on the chapter. Subscribe for more Tower of God, One Piece, The Walking Dead, and a bunch more. I have a ton to do for the channel. So, yeah, hopefully stick in there for that, guys. Follow on Twitter as well if you want. I'll try to keep you updated there on stuff for the channel. And that's it. So thank you once again for watching, and I will see you all next time.